Hey guys, it's Packy with the house. As always, it's your absolute favorite house member. And today we're reviewing Jeremy's game and we're going to go over the two-handed bowling technique and give him some tips to get more inside the ball and create a little better ball roll. So let's get into it.
All right, guys, we are back with the house bowling reviews, and this time we have another two-hander. So I'm back reviewing again. His name is Jeremy. He said he's about a 205 average, and he needs a couple things specific work done. He said the first one was that he would like to get his track moved a little bit, and then there's a couple things that I see that could help him with that, as well as something that could help boost that average from 205 into these 210, 220 range pretty quickly. So for starters, let's just take a look at his game. So I'm going to talk about two things here. I'm going to talk about one, I'm going to talk about the swing. And the second thing I'm going to talk about is his hand position upon release. First off, I absolutely love the slap out. The 10 pin, boom, slap out on the messenger. I love it. So the swing. We're going to talk about the swing first. So one thing I would like to see is the starting position. I would like to see the ball more in this area. Instead, it's like hiding behind you where I can't really see it. I think it's like here-ish. I would like to see it a little further to the right. When you push away, now the ball is like still over here, maybe even further to the left. And that creates this loop in your swing where the ball is going to come like this, and then it's going to tuck behind you. And then you're going to throw it the same way. You're going to throw it out like that. So it's kind of just, it's a little, you see it swing out. So it swung this way instead of going straight up and back towards where your target is. So if I draw a line from you, through your target on the lane, it's probably here. And then as you get closer to the lane, it'll match up to where you are. But if you are, let's just fast forward a little bit. So if I draw a line through your target, right? It's like here. From you to the target, it's like there, right? So you want to swing that ball basically on that path the whole time, where you swing it up and back the side of your body. And then you match your hips up to where your target is, and you're never going to miss. Never being an objective term, but you're never going to miss. So if you swing it like this, the ball is coming in this big loop where it comes here. It's hard for you to correct it and get it to go directly to your target, like on this line. So what I would like to see is you to kind of start it a little further to the right. That way there's not this big loop, because when there's a big loop, then there's a bunch of muscle on the way back to try and get it, on that line where you want it to be. A small loop is fine, but I think the big loop kind of hurts you from playing different areas on the lane. Like I would assume it's pretty hard for you to play straight. And then on top of that, I would say, it's probably a little harder for you to consistently hit your target without missing a little left or missing a little right one shot. And your misses are going to be much easier if you can get the swing into, a line like this where it's right next to your body, or, a line like this where it's right next to your body and it's always on your target. So instead we have this kind of large loop. So that kind of adds to some muscle. So that would be something that I would say you could use, try and start the ball, now that you're facing me. Oop, at the end of the video. I would say try and start the ball like right here, like next to your hip, and then try and just swing it almost along that path where it's, right next to your body, right here. Basically, you're going to push it out a little bit. You don't need to push it out too far. And then it's just going to swing up and back right next to your body. And there might still be a little loop, maybe a little baby tuck, but it's okay if there's a small loop. But the loop that you have is a little large. It's a little muscled. So it's hard for, it's going to be hard for you to repeat shots. So that's one thing. And then on top of that, because of the loop, that's actually why your track is kind of where it is. So if we go into it, you release the ball where your whole arm, your elbow goes out this way. And if we could keep your elbow in, if we could keep your arm in this slot right here next to your body, but instead your elbow just goes out just a little bit, and we see your hand. I'm trying to get it frozen on your hand. Your hand's in a great spot here, and your elbow's in. So these are the main things when we're talking about getting that track off of your middle finger. Elbow has to be in, hand has to be under the ball. So I'm trying to freeze it on that. But so if your elbow's in, see how you're releasing it? You're releasing it from like the very side of the ball. So if I cut the ball into like quadrants, if I cut the ball like this, you're going to want your fingers to be in this region right here. Maybe even a little further to the right where it's like on the line right here. But if we're coming onto the top of the ball like we are here, or even a little bit underneath it on the side of it, then your track is going to be really low. It's going to be close to your fingers. And on some layouts, not on every layout, it's going to be on your fingers. So I would go back in. This is something that could also be fixed through a pro shop. So if you go, I know you, I'm assuming this is Fairfield, Connecticut. This is the home of Buddy's Pro Shop. And, it's a pro shop that I love. And they have a super knowledgeable pro shop operator, Chris Forey. And you can go into Chris and he can, if he remeasures your PAP, so your positive axis point where your ball spins around when you throw it, if he remeasures your PAP, they can drill you a ball that probably won't flare over your middle finger. If you come to him and say, hey, I have this problem, ball's flaring over my middle finger, I think a layout might be able to, I think a different layout might be able to get it off my fingers. A different layout will get it off of your fingers. However, that'd be like putting a Band-Aid on a cut that needs stitches. So if you put a Band-Aid on it, it might stop the bleeding for a little bit, but there's still going to be some things inside of there that you need to fix. So I would say that you need to, just work on going up there a little slower, not really trying your full approach, but going up there and getting your hand when you release it. Here we are, a little better shot of your hand. If I cut the ball into 4 pieces, that's a bad one. If I cut the ball into 4 pieces, your hand's on the outside. We're going to need your hand in this region right here. So I would say just, work on getting your hand a little more inside the ball, and that'll actually get your roll off of off of your fingers. So it's a simple fix. It's going to be a little hard to work on. So it sounds simple, but it's going to take a little time for you to work on. But other than that, I think you got a great game. You're balanced at the line. You do pop up a little bit, but that's something that we can talk about later. So I'd love to see you fix these. Where your starting position, you get it a little more centered, and that swing can be a little more natural and on line with that target, like we talked about, where everything's in line, but we just got to get that swing a little straighter and that push away more in line. So if we can start that, I think we're going to be golden here, and then that'll also help you get your fingers a little more inside the ball and get that track off of your middle finger, like we talked about. So thanks for sending a video in, Jeremy. We really appreciate it. And I hope you send another one in like a month or two when you work on these things, so we can talk about, a couple other things like you popping up at the line, or, we need to work on your slap out a little bit. It could use a little more oomph. But besides those 2 things, I think you got a great game, and I think we definitely have something that we can work with and get you, to a much higher average and get you in a way better spot. So really appreciate you sending in a video. Thanks again. We look forward to seeing some high scores out of you.
As always, thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking around. And if you guys want a coaching review of your own, click the link down below in the description for a 50% off discount code on a review of your own game to put up on our channel or not. We have a couple of people that send in videos that ask not to be put on YouTube, and we can do that too. but still 50% discount in the description below. Support us on Patreon, YouTube membership. I don't even know what else we do. Links in description.